Good Sunday football morning. This is the Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk. Thank you for waking up with the pregame. To the pregame, I am Shawn Xavier alongside the storyteller and Eric Vega Hall. Earl will be joining us shortly. And of course, we thank you guys for joining us each and every football Sunday, Thursday, Saturday, whichever day we're on here for all of our unfiltered football talk, conversation, picks, everything else, and now bets and everything else in between, man. Of course, as always, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seat Podcast. And we are, live streaming across YouTube and our Twitch TV pages, as well as Facebook, if you follow us there as well. Again, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
How we doing?
You know I'm good.
I don't even know what does that mean? I don't even know what that.
You know what I'm good.
What does that mean?
Hey man, here's what it is. If you don't know now, you know.
Oh man.
Back to back.
Yeah, Eric, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed.
Good stuff. Okay, good as well, man. We're gonna kick this thing right off, man. It was an exciting weekend, and it happened. We talked about it last episode, and it's happening. And now we're going to see where it goes from there. We got the chaos, man. The chaos is among us. Both USC and TCE lost. We talked about it, and we started giving all the what-if scenarios last episode. And now everybody's on the edge of their seat to see who's actually going to be those last two.
The somehow how Alabama...
right, man. I think
Nick Saban went in last night on the halftime show.
Did he ever, man? Like, it's so. How do we always get here? I feel like we haven't had this kind of conversation about Alabama since I want to say pre the CFP, maybe during the BCS time, I guess, maybe, or am I a little too far back when it's like he's campaigning at the end of the season who should get that.
He'll do it again once it changes, and then they'll be 13th, trying to be 12, so they can get into it.
Right. But hey, look, no surprise that they get their second loss, and then now all of a sudden it's official. We most definitely going to 12 teams within the next 2 years now.
Right.
It's official.
Right. Mm-hmm. For this reason, because it's always interesting to hear someone like Nick Saban or one of these guys be like, put the best teams in. But what does that really mean in college football? Because unlike NFL football, sometimes you can clearly see who the better team is in the pros.
Oh, it depends. According to Nick, he said, "What does the eye test really mean?"
True.
They said the eye test. Yes. He said, I don't know what you really mean by the eye test.
Right. We all watched that Tennessee Alabama game. Was Tennessee Alabama? Did I say it right? Yeah, yes. It was. Yeah. That eye test showed me that Alabama got their ass whooped. That's just me though. I don't know about nobody else. Did I catch it without using the same eyes as you, Eric?
I'm not. They didn't get whooped.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This comes from the Tennessee guy.
Okay.
They didn't get whooped. We won that game.
Yeah.
They didn't get whooped. Now by the same favor, I mean, we also had the guy who was leading for the Heisman at that time too.
Right.
I mean, obviously at this point now he's out for the season because of his injury, but at that point in time, you could argue we had the best player in college football. I mean, granted, now Alabama obviously has their quarterback, who's the current Heisman winner, but our guy outplayed him.
Yeah, true. It was, and now that's going to come back to bite because right now I believe, and I know this is not going to happen, but Tennessee has 2 losses as well, right? Or they got 3? I can't remember.
We're at 2 for sure. Yeah, I think we're just at the 2 losses.
Right.
Like I said, we lost him. Our season was done anyway once our quarterback was gone.
Yeah, Tennessee has 2 losses.
Right. So I know they're looking at everything else, but just being devil's advocate, if anything, and as they Tennessee did beat Alabama. I don't see the Tennessee unless I missed something. I don't see Tennessee's coach out there campaigning for them to be the 4th spot. Into the playoffs.
Like I said, once again, I mean, we deal in the real time, and now we know we're not that team that beat Alabama. If we played Alabama tomorrow, we don't beat Alabama.
True. Yeah. With your current makeup, yes. Now, if you have your guys back, that might be a different conversation.
Correct.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? A team that couldn't get over the hump. And it is kind of difficult to beat a team twice in a year, especially in college football. Was USC and Utah. Now this was an ass whooping. They just outside of the hit that everybody saw that the QB took in that game, Utah put it on USC for the second time this season, and pretty much knocked out any hope, I believe, of USC even making it to the CFP. Once that loss happened, it was like hello Ohio State at that point.
Yeah, but you know what? Credit to Lincoln Riley, though. I mean, he wins where he goes. I mean, didn't USC have like 8 losses last year? Wasn't like
Yeah.
one of their worst years, like in their recent program history.
Yeah.
And then to go from that to losing 2 games this year. I mean, you consider the second game that you lost was in the championship game. So I mean, you only lost 1 game during the season, and then you lost the second game in your championship game. So I mean, to take a team that essentially was left, to be nothing, and especially after the announcement that team was going to be moving to the Big Ten. I mean, he came in fighting. I mean, he didn't back down, and he came in and his team did what his teams do. I mean, look at Oklahoma. Look at the fall of Oklahoma from him leaving to the rise of USC of him coming.
Right. It's the fact that you said that both USC and UCLA moving into the Big Ten in 2024. But how many, Dave, do you know off top, how many teams does the Big Ten actually have? Because I know
more than 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 15, 16, something like that.
Right, man. Like
look at this. I know we're gonna talk about it in a moment, but we played Purdue for the Big Ten championship. They're the Big Ten West, right?
Right.
And they got there by default because so many people lost.
Yeah.
On the other side. You said 14, Gary said 14. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right. It's so from one side you had
about to
14.
Be Big 20.
Shout out to Gary, man. So you have USC losing, and then you have in yesterday in overtime, you have Kansas State beating TCU, which a lot of people were picking this upset. And TCU in a close game, which it should be a lot of people saying that TCU is the one that belongs into this CFP, them being number 3 coming in. What do you guys think, man?
I think by the way that they lost, they earned the right to stay. Honestly,
okay.
I mean, because I'm one of the people that picked Kansas State to beat TCU, and I picked USC to beat Utah. So I mean, obviously I was wrong about the USC, but I was right about the Kansas State beating TCU.
Right.
But that being said, like kind of how like you said, for Utah to beat USC twice is hard to do.
Right.
For TCU to beat Kansas State twice was going to be hard to do, and they weren't able to do it. Right. Now, if we were sitting here talking about the fact that Kansas State would have came and rolled them the way that USC got rolled, I don't think this would be a conversation personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that you actually had to go into overtime, you got a debate on whether certain calls should have been made, if TCU should have scored, if Kansas State should have scored. So I mean, it's kind of one of them things where it may have been like almost an official's discretion on what call was made and what calls weren't made. Yeah, I give TCU the benefit of the doubt, and I'll leave TCU in the top 4.
Got you. Here's my, and what's interesting, and this is a reason that going to the 12-team playoff is so important, because with all this talk, so Kansas State comes out of this winning the Big 12, and they won't have no chance of winning a national championship, which is why this expansion is so good.
Correct. Same thing with Utah.
Right. So this is why this is long overdue. But something happened during this game that I've brung up in multiple shows, and Dave commented on it. 4th and 1. And I felt validated because I saw J.J. Watt tweet about it, and I had to post the actual tweet he put out. And he said the quarterback sneak is, if not the most difficult play to stop, especially when you put pushes and stuff behind the play. Why in the hell do you choose to go into a shotgun? So you've added 5 yards to it, and then it's like you cutting off your nose to spite your face. I don't know why people do this. I have a problem with this watching this. I see it in high school. I see in other teams there. It's 4th and 1, man. Go ahead, get your big uglies behind them there, and use all your might to get that 1 yard. dropping back 5 yards and shotgun to do like some inside zone play or something is so mind-boggling to me. It fools no one more times than not. The only team that typically gets away with that for all intents and purposes is usually Baltimore because they put Lamar back in the shotgun, and they're built that way. But even still, 4th and 1, just go for the quarterback sneak, man. Again, shout out to Gary, man.
Yeah, I agree with the statement you got down there that Gary's got on there about it. Yeah. Now when the playoffs come in, doesn't that kind of also make like the championship games irrelevant to an extent?
It makes a lot of games irrelevant. Because the Michigan
does.
Ohio State game is not as big as what it's been every year.
Yeah. Right. Because because if Michigan and Ohio State, if they still both come in ranked, in the top 5,
definitely be,
then the loser of that game is still going to be in the top 12 when it's all said and done. You're not going to drop a team from the top 5 out of the top 12 for that one loss when it comes to the Michigan or Ohio State game.
I personally don't like the expansion. I think the expansion is more what we were speaking of in the beginning of, hey, I think some of these bigger wigs are starting to get 1 and 2 losses, and we still want them in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's exactly what comes. But like I said, it just really defeats the purpose of a championship because, kind of like Gary saying, do you really want at that point to be in the championship game? Like say you're a number like Kansas State. Wasn't Kansas State number 10?
Yeah.
If you Kansas State and the top 12 go, do you want to play in that championship game? Off the fact that knowing if you lose it, you might drop out of the top 12, but if you don't play in that game, you're probably assured to stay in the top 12 by not playing because whoever does lose is going to come down and you're probably going to at least, if don't go up, you'll at least stay the same and where you're at.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes down to a fact that the lower seed in these championship games now are kind of at a disadvantage than the higher seed. The higher seed is, for all intents and purposes, going to probably stay in the top 12. But like I said, you're a lower seed and you as low as Kansas State at 10, you really run the risk now of losing out in that 12 because you made it because you rewarded by making it to a championship game. Whereas if you didn't make it to the championship game and you were seeded number 10, you're probably fine to make it in.
And see, a coach like Harbaugh will be like, look, do we really even want to show them our schemes? Ohio State? We'll wait for the playoffs.
Right. Well, let me pose this question. How important really is the rankings anymore in this case? Because you got the coaches poll, the AP ranking, which to be honest, it's all for naught. Like those don't make there's only one ranking that matters. Right. And that's the thing though. Like I said, because when you guys, and I'm going back to the game, when Tennessee and Alabama played, Alabama was what, number 3 at the time, I think.
I don't remember.
I know they were in the top. They were in the top 4, and then Tennessee was what, 9, I think, or something like that. But the team that what I'm going with this is the better team won that day. Call it what you want. So really, what is that 2 or 3 ranking that Alabama had? Were they that much better than Tennessee at the time? See what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where you just throwing a number on it, but are they really? I mean, the only clear-cut team that you would say is the number 1 team in NCAA football is Georgia.
It's Georgia.
Correct. Outside of that, everybody else, it's a toss-up. Is Ohio State that much better than Michigan?
Well, if you ask your boy Nick, the way he came out there yesterday, he said if you take any team that's on that bubble line and you put them on a neutral field against Alabama, he said that his team would be favored in every single matchup against any of them teams that's trying to get in the top 4. And the sad part is, I don't really know if we can really disagree to an extent if we start rambling off the teams that's outside of the top 4.
But tell him he has a discussion if he won and lost twice.
True. And you look and
nothing to say. He's lost twice.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, not granted. I mean, he didn't get beat down either time. The nature of losing was at the end of both games, but a loss is a loss. Look, nobody knows more about a loss being a loss than the team right now that has all their losses after having a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter. But we're not gonna go down. I digress.
We'll be there soon.
Yeah, this is why I say by the rankings, right? Because when you look at Alabama, yes, Alabama, but when you start looking at schedules, and I always go back to the scheduling, and I know it's not like the NFL where you play who's in front of you. They schedule a lot of these teams. So you look at Alabama's schedule. They had Utah State start. They had Texas. Okay. You had UL, Monroe, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Texas A&M, what's supposed to have, and it was a good game, but we saw what Texas A&M and turned out end up being. Then they had Tennessee, Mississippi State, LSU, Ole Miss, Austin P, and then Auburn. I mean, what out of that whole schedule, you got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 decent teams or good teams. What I mean, everybody else, man, like you schedule like this soft schedule, and it's like that every year for a lot of these teams. They get this high ranking, and they're playing like these.
He purposely did that.
Yeah, so that's why I say the whole ranking bit is kind of, like I said, Georgia's the only one that I see, but everybody else is kind of flawed because you rank a team 2 or 3, but you see who they playing and be like, bruh, case in point, and we'll switch off of this. North Carolina Tar Heels in basketball came in number 1. They lost their next 3 games. That number 1 ranking meant nothing of that. So we'll see how that goes. Earl, thanks for joining us. Who you got, man? So this, the conversation now is,
y'all can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. We got Georgia and we got, of course, Michigan, in the CFP. Now the debate is Ohio State, all intents and purposes, should be there. Now it's that 4th spot. Who gets it? TCU, Alabama. That's the only 2 names that really come up. Ain't nobody else, I think, outside of them will get in there. What do you think?
Jackson State. Nah, I mean, I personally don't even want Alabama to get it because, like, they just feel like if they ain't in there, it ain't shit. But I don't know, bro. I mean, I guess right now I'm gonna say TCU.
I'm gonna say they lost, 3-point overtime game.
But I also feel like Alabama will probably get the edge because of the schedule.
Well, if you look at the schedule, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. TCU has a stronger schedule than what Alabama got, and more ranked opponents, if I'm correct.
Oh yeah, out of the top 4, TCU has the strongest schedule out of all.
Which should make them automatically in, on that premise alone.
Well, here's a question: Ohio State being in there and TCU being in there, does Ohio State overtake TCU for number 3 and TCU drop the 4, even though TCU only lost by 3?
Your question, Dave, I think is going to be 2 different answers to your question. Because you got what probably should happen, and then you got what they want to happen.
Right.
What they don't want to happen is Michigan and Ohio State playing again in the first round. So they don't want them to be 2 and 3. You can't push Michigan above Georgia at this point. Like, there's nothing that could justify pushing Michigan to number 1 above Georgia. I agree. So Michigan's locked at 2. So you either run the risk by sitting there saying Ohio State jumps TCU and takes that 3 spot, and then you play Michigan and Ohio State again, which obviously a whole lot of people would like to see, but the bigger one would be people wanting to see that as a championship. So obviously you kind of don't want to put them there, but then if you put Ohio State at number 4, now you put them up, against Georgia, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to be favored against Georgia.
Gotcha.
So then you kind of run the risk of you're not going to get the Ohio State Michigan game again for the championship. So it's like I said, it's what should be done, and then it's probably what they want to be done.
Yeah, because that's where I'm at with it. I don't have Alabama even in this discussion. I know, Nick Saban wants the discussion, but I think it's more on who is 3 and who is 4 for the reasons that Eric just broke down.
Yeah.
I don't think I definitely agree. I don't think they want Michigan, Ohio State.
But if you want the guaranteed money, you put that on there because at least it's guaranteed that they will play again. It's not guaranteed that there is actually probably more not likely that they will play in the championship game by having Georgia playing Ohio State.
But see, this is the other thing. They both got 1 losses, but TCU's 1 loss was in a championship game, and it's kind of like a chosen loss because of how they went for it.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. A championship game and overtime, a championship game. And once again, it comes to the point. Are we penalizing TCU because they made it to their championship?
Right.
And
they chose to go for it. They could have kicked the field goal and kept the overtime going. So.
Let me ask you this. Because last year, of course, we had Alabama, Georgia in the national championship. is a potential if they ranked it right. So they go Georgia, Ohio State, somehow Ohio State upsets Georgia, whatever the case may be, and then Michigan beats TCU. If that's how it break out. Is Ohio State, Michigan a bigger national championship than Alabama, Georgia?
Yes.
I'm biased. So
Well,
I'll
wait
let
a minute.
everybody else.
Wait a
I
minute.
mean, just from like the TV
Are we talking
viewership
about?
and stuff like
Are we
that.
comparing last year to this year's team, or are we comparing? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, as far as like because when the Alabama Georgia rematch, you want to call it that, as far as viewership, money, and everything else, that is Ohio State, Michigan. Will that be a bigger game for all the networks than what Alabama Georgia was, in your opinion?
So you're saying if those two played in the championship this year, would that rating be higher than last year's rating?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. I know Dave. I know Dave. Like, of course it will be. Of course it will be. It's interesting. It's interesting. I would like to see it. To be honest, I personally think that it'll probably be one of the highest rated championships that will happen probably since last year aside. Probably since USC Texas.
Oh yeah, well, I agree. But the only reason I'm putting that one, above it because I think the hype built around the fact that no Nick Saban, underling had ever been able to beat him until last year when Jimbo beat him during the season. So then it was kind of like, can another one beat him in the championship game, being that he finally took his first loss during the season? And it was kind of like, will he lose twice to two of his underlings? And the fact that we all saw, the rise of Tua when he should have lost the first time to Kirby Smart when Georgia was in the championship against them. And the way that Tua rallied that team and beat them, I just think that everything was so going in the favor of, if Georgia's ever going to do this, you got to do it now, or forever you won't be taken serious during the Nick Saban, reign. So I think that in itself pushed that game probably above, because people wanted to see the fall of Alabama. People wanted to see Alabama lose that, so that way Alabama would be where they are now with the two losses. And the fact that people now probably perceive Alabama as staying around that team that's going to probably end up averaging now around 2 losses a year. So I think we're looking at the fall of, of the empire at this point. So, I mean, the Ohio State, Michigan is something that you're guaranteed every year to see regardless during the season. And then you just get a bonus if you see it in the championship. But like I said, I think at this point, even if they got to the championship against each other, it wouldn't overcome that hype of last year's game.
Is it better for, now here's my thing, because the thing, and the reason I asked that question like that, because a lot of the spotlight and the onus was put on the coaching. What's happening, what I'm seeing now the last few years, is a lot of it's not even about the players. Remember when like the Heisman hype was really there? You had like a lot of, it seemed like, I feel like that's died down a bit. Like the spotlight is on them. It's more so about coaching itself. And I feel like now and I think who's still hurt for you guys, Dave? Or are they all back? Corum. Is he going to be back?
That was our best running back. Nah,
he's up for this. He is done. Well, I guess in this case, and what I was going with that is, now you have potentially the spotlight now being put on the two Heisman front runners in this case, in a potential national championship matchup, instead of having the Nick Saban versus a Kirby Smart discussion ad nauseum.
I don't think it would have happened anyway, even if Corum was there, because that it's so much of a quarterback award.
Yeah.
A running back has to run for damn near 3,000 yards to they would have to go ridiculous.
Or you gotta look like a grown man playing kids like Derrick Henry did.
It's still Jonathan Taylor. He ran for 2,500 yards, something like that.
We went over those stats as far as running backs, and it's a shame.
It's got to be something different about you than any other running back that's playing at the time.
Right.
Okay. All right. Yep. Defensively, you got to be a freak of nature. Yep.
Yeah. It can't just be about yards at that point. You got to have something different about you.
Got you. So since
I
we talking
think
about
last year, not to cut you off, I think
good.
Aiden Hutchinson should have got more recognition for the Heisman last year.
Right.
And you see what he's doing in the NFL right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm just sitting back and I'm like, damn, what do you have to do to really be up there and not be a quarterback?
Yeah.
Well, if you're a defensive player, it's really nothing you can. If you're a defensive player, you got to be a two-way. Seriously, if you're a defensive player, if you can't play two ways, which really pretty much means you got to be a defensive back that can line up on the field and catch balls. Seriously, that's about the only thing you can do as a defense.
Yeah.
And that award's not going to go to a lineman. It's not going to go, to a linebacker. If anybody on defense gets it, it's going to be a defensive back, and it's going to be because they were able to go on the other side of the ball and take snaps on the other side of the ball.
True.
Yeah. Or run back kicks and have like 5 touchdowns.
Albeit to do a
That's
return
Howard.
kick. Yeah, exactly.
You got to be crazy.
Yeah. So since we were talking about that spotlight, man, being taken off the players and being put so much on coaches now, let's go right into it. So it was announced after the game yesterday that Deion Primetime Sanders is leaving Jackson State University and heading for a job in Colorado. Something that it's been kind of whispered, not even whispered, but I was a loud whisper at least for like the last 2 weeks. Hell, we were talking about it last week potentially when it popped up. Jackson State did play last night against Southern in the SWAC championship game. And of course, they won their second consecutive SWAC championship. I watched most of that game. It was been up 43-24 last night. So yeah, and he went in and told his players, oddly enough, I would have thought they already knew. It was after the game last night. Pretty much it was like, hey, I know you guys heard the rumors. Yes, I am taking a job in Colorado, so forth, so on. And the quote that kind of stuck with me in coaching, you either elevate or you're terminated, which I found odd. But yeah, what's your guys' take, man? After we talked about last week, I know everybody, all the professionals out there were giving their take, and we gave ours last week. But what's your what's your take, man?
Round of applause for the man.
Yeah, I think
seriously, round of applause. He did what he said he was coming in to do. I mean, if he ain't SWAC, who's SWAC? So I mean, round of applause.
Like a little bit, Earl.
Yeah, because you're really low.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he came in, he did what he wanted to do. You know what? We talked about an HBCU football team for 3 years straight now. My thing is, who's next? Who's going to be the one to come in and take that baton? Who can he pass it off to? Who's going to be the willing person to take the next leg of this run?
And I'm going off of what Eric has said, expanded a little bit. Be careful what you say out your mouth in a couple of ways. When people want to talk about, like we were just discussing, he's not SWAC. Well, let's see how SWAC does now. You got to appreciate the people when they're there. And more than money, I think some of that stuff came into play. I think there's some underlying facts here where it's just like, I don't want the picture to be painted as if, oh, look, he done left HBCUs behind and blah, blah, blah. He ain't here to be the savior. He put it on the map. He's there.
He started the movement.
He was there. And there were a couple people there that didn't appreciate it while he was there. Now, did I want him to stay? Yes, 100%. I said it the other week. 100% I want him to stay. But am I going to hate on that man because he left? No. And I'm not going to let that picture be painted in any type of way, because I hear sometimes, even with some of these reporters, you can see it trying to steer that way. And if you go back to our regular episode of the Hot Seat, and we were talking about LeBron James comments, you can see the media trying to build it up. See, he even left. And I don't want that picture to be painted. So congratulate this man. Did I want him to go to Colorado? No, not at all. If he left, I want him to go to Florida State. That would have really pulled that story in that sense. But at the same time, don't blame this man because he left out, but he put you on the map and did what he needed to do there for the SWAC. Because we were discussing this offline. Nobody were going to these games. But now step up. He's gone now. Are you still going to be there? So why are you blaming Deion? That means you were just there for Deion. You weren't there for those kids. All these celebrities going to be there. You know, who's going to pick up the baton? Who's going to get first taking all these people down there to all more games than just Jackson State for a homecoming and things like that? So that should be the discussion more than, oh, look, Deion done left them behind, so nobody else is going. I don't want that picture to be painted. That's the one thing that I'm putting out there, because that media, I mean, he'll get out there to Colorado and you already know what's going to happen. You know, he get a couple losing seasons and everything, and now he's just a number. You know, and now, oh, well, Deion, so, come on, man. Come on. So that's my take on it. Go ahead. Yeah, you're good now.
All right. Thank you, man. Because I woke up this morning. I had time today.
Go ahead.
First and foremost, everything Dave said, I agree with 1,000%. Okay. We were all hoping, and I was wrong. I thought he was going to stay. I thought it was some other things that he was going to do. But this just goes to show you, and this is, and I you know what? And I got up this morning and I was on IG and I got into, I had time this morning. I was going back and forth with a couple people that I'm just like, I'm trying to check them. And I'm like, this just goes to show you that there was some other stuff going on that we weren't privy to. Okay. And, you know, I mean, I respect him for all that he's done. I thank him for everything that he's done. It's not fair to put all of this pressure on this brother. He has done so much, not for just JSU, but he's done a lot for the SWAC, and he's done a lot for HBCUs. This man was donating a percentage of his salary back to the school. Name one coach who was doing that. Name a black coach who was in the NFL at a HBCU that is doing that. Exactly. Yep. So my thing is, for people to really come out of their mouth to call this man a sellout, because he went and did what any of us would have done because they were offering a better opportunity. That's what we all do. You know what I'm saying? We don't stay at a job. We might sacrifice and things of that nature, but you also want to expand and do other things. Like he didn't have to come to JSU. That's what people don't understand. He did not have to come to JSU. The fact that he even chose to come to JSU, because he could have went to other schools, but the fact that he chose to use JSU as a pillar and all of the notoriety and things that he was able to afford JSU is a blessing. Like, even though he's gone, JSU got a new facility. You know what I'm saying? JSU's facility, as he said it, it's not going to look like a high school facility. It actually looks like a college facility. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, was there more things that they probably still need? Absolutely. But it's apples and oranges from the time that he got there to the time that he left. So I'm just like, I'm upset that people are really coming at him and saying like, yo, why you leaving? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that man doing what's best for him, and he doing what's best for his family. Like, everybody just need to say, yo, thank you. And now, because he opened the door, who's going to continue the movement? And it shouldn't just fall on one person. It needs to be a group, a team of people. And this is what we need to start doing. You know what I'm saying?
And not just Jackson State.
Yeah, and I think like black folks, and I'm gonna turn in the race. I think black folks, we get into the habit sometimes as just we like to lean on one person to carry the weight for the whole culture, and that's too much weight, bro. It's too much weight, bro. Like, we all got to have and take, like, a collective part in helping to move and better these situations for our community. He did his job, he did that and more. So it should be no hate from this brother. I wish him all the success in the world. I hope he goes over there and does his thing. Now, one of the things I was also thinking about, I'm going to be real interested to see what some of these current kids that his program does. And I don't know if y'all saw that.
Like his own.
I don't know if you saw that message. That he had on his IG, but he was talking about a lot of the kids talking about they're gonna go through the portal, and he did warn them, and he said, "Hey, look, y'all need to come talk to me first, because don't just think that y'all going to the portal like that's going to be a better situation for you, So I'm really interested, really just to seeing, in particular, like who, if his sons in them stay, which I doubt, and then also that kid Hunter, Travis Hunter, like what does he do? I got a feeling he's gonna follow him. But like I said, and then also my last point. This is my last point. People don't realize too, his coaching staff was not getting paid nothing crazy. And the fact that when he left, he's taking some of his coaching staff. And by him leaving, he's also offering an opportunity for some of his coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? Like they were getting paid 10 times under what you're supposed to be getting paid. And these guys have had some good careers. Like a lot of them NFL players, some NFL coaches and stuff like that. So they could go anywhere else and probably get a nice little bag. So it's like people gotta understand, like this wasn't a move that he made for him. He was thinking about a lot of people when he made this decision. But that's all I got for right now with this. Just pissed.
So
we got to do better.
So I don't believe Deion is a sellout, but I will admit that I'm one that wasn't happy about the decision.
Oh no, none of us were.
So and I think just my personal experience with being a coach and being a mentor, it kind of hit me that way as well. And there's a couple of things I point out. I intentionally did not get on any of go into the feed of when he left, because I didn't want to let that influence my emotional aspect. I did see his video. He's talking about, and I kind of found it odd that he had just told them after the game. But I said it a week ago or so and I posted that when it first came up that he potentially left, and I know those guys are underpaid and stuff like that. My thing is, what was the purpose when you first came down to Jackson State or going to any HBCU? And I also pointed out that you have now, they had college game day down at Jackson State, which was fantastic. Now you have a historically Black college university, one so far, just actually getting that major spotlight. You've already pissed a lot of people off before the season started when he did flip Travis Hunter. If people don't know how mad people were about that, go look. It was insane. And my thing at the time was, that's exactly what the NCAA needs, is for us to start pulling those recruits as well. Because we had a conversation, a lot of these recruits that were going to FBS, look at the HBCUs. And I like that. And I was like, okay, who's going to, to your point, who's going to follow that? But I thought it was going to be, let's take time to pull that in, because it's not going to be an overnight thing. And this is kind of like what you saw with Deion. He did do a lot for JSU there. But the fact that him leaving, and there's going to be players going to try to go through that transfer portal. Some of them may be worthy of, some may not be. Some that just actually may be the end of the road as far as them going past the college aspect, because now a lot of the scouts and stuff were coming down to JSU. I also saw something in there as you guys pointed out, we're putting all the onus on Deion. But don't we do the same thing with LeBron James, and going back further, even with Jordan? It wasn't fair, but when Jordan was coming up, remember, he was underpaid. All his money was made in his endorsements and such. But the culture was kind of put on his back for him to carry that aspect. Now, he didn't do all the culture shifting things that you see LeBron doing now. But as far as the seeing one of our back in the 80s, if you guys remember, you had Magic. Then after that, Jordan ushered the culture into the new era of the NBA and such. It opened up a lot of stuff as far as endorsements. Now you look at LeBron James, his social awareness stuff. We were just talking about him the other day. A lot of that onus is put onto them fairly or unfairly. It's kind of the same thing for Deion, man. Even though there are other coaches, you got Eddie George, who just got there. You got Hugh Jackson, prominent names down there, some other guys as well. Deion was that lightning rod. And I would like to have him seen. Was he going to stay 20, 30 years? No, that's unrealistic. But I would like to have seen, if nothing else, him graduate a class from JSU and perhaps still a few more of those top recruits from these other big schools next offseason and start that wave. Because now my fear is he's going to go out to Colorado. Their facilities are no better than JSU, to be honest. You go look at, they are not. He go out there, and now, yes, USC and UCLA are leaving. And to Dave's point, if he doesn't have a successful season, we may start looking at, all of a sudden that pressure is going to be like what they did with Herm Edwards, to the point to where now this man gets fired after a game on the field. And then now you're looking at where we are now. See what I'm saying? So now you go out there. So now he potentially could have a lot more control at JSU and kind of muscle some of the ways there compared to what he's going to get in Colorado.
No, I understand that, but again, this goes back again. Nobody wanted to see this happen, okay? Especially something like I said, as an HBCU alumni, I wanted him to stay. But again, we don't know what this brother was dealing with on the back end. We already seen in some instances where, within his own conference, he got hate. And it's like all of this sacrifice that I'm giving.
But what's it? Let me stop you there. Who is it about though? Is it about Deion, or is it actually about that team as a collective?
Okay.
Is it about you actually doing everything you said you spoke on in that video I posted in when he was on First Take? Is it about that, or is it about Deion?
Well, it's damn sure not about Deion. He got 3 kids that went there.
I got that. Like I got that, but he also coaches a team that has almost 70 players. So is it about the Deion aspect, or is it literally about the players and everything that you're trying to establish?
It's about the players.
HBCU?
It's about the players, but my whole thing is like, you can't negate that. Like, at the end of the day, he's living his life as well. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not negating that.
Hold on. He ain't making this. He didn't, and he damn sure didn't make this decision for himself. Like, there was a lot of things that he had to think about. Even when he announced it, he strategically announced that after that game. I wouldn't announce it beforehand because I don't want the attention to be taken away from them kids. You know what I'm saying? It's kids on there that some people may say, well, it's some kids that came there that didn't have to come in that sacrifice or whatever. He did the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you got the transfer portal for.
Yeah, exactly. And guess what? As a result of it, all of them kids benefited. Like, what HBCU kids was getting NIL deals? You know what I'm saying? Them other kids, Travis Hunter could have been just another name on Alabama or whatever school he was going to go to. You know what I'm saying? Because they got nothing but 4- and 5-star players. So he'd have just been another person over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, I'm just mad that people are really putting all of this on Deion. Like, he kind of
savior.
He like, that ain't fair to him, that's not fair.
And to go with what Earl's saying, I mean, Deion said from the start. I mean, yeah, it was about the kids. I mean, but the one aspect he also always said from the start was it's about his coaches.
Right.
The fact, I mean, that he wanted his coaches to be able to succeed, to be able to, be competitively paid like everybody else. I mean,
absolutely.
You couldn't do that at Jackson. And he always said that he knew there was no way that his staff could be well compensated for the job that they were doing. So, I mean, yeah, Deion, like he always said, I totally believe him when he said it's not about the money for him.
Right.
Deion got money. Deion going to stay with money. His endorsements, just like anything else, is paying him more than his coaching is going to pay him. Even at Colorado, his endorsements are still going to pay him more than when he gets paid from Colorado. But now his staffing is what's going to start benefiting. Those people are going to start, and then they're going to get opportunities to where some of those guys may go with him to Colorado, coach for a couple years there, and then maybe they're offered a head coaching job at a SWAC school, or HBCU, and then maybe they'll take it. And then they'll try to work their way up, and then they'll do the same for their people. So it's like I said, it's so many different components that I can't see this being a focus on Deion himself. It's about everything else around Deion that's going to be able to benefit from his decision making.
Right, and just to piggyback off of that, it's he is in he has the capacity to, to say, you know what, I don't need this money. I'm good financially. But I saw something on there where they was looking for a trainer that was getting paid $50,000. They said, "Yo, we got $50,000 for you." Do you know how much trainers get at other schools, bro?
But here's the thing, though.
But
Here's the thing.
but
Listen. But you knew this. You know this when you go into the school. No.
No. That's not true. Listen.
When you go into these type of schools that are underfunded,
I understand
from the
that,
beginning, you know this from the jump. So, like what
Shawn,
I'm saying,
he didn't get just any old average Joe. He had people that he knew was going to develop these players, and he asked them to sacrifice.
No, and you're making my point. You know that going in. I'm not negating that. Because even going further, because we both watched the same video, the fact that he said in there that he hopes that his pick for his successor, I forgot the guy's name, that he wants for the. He said, but that's not up to him, and that's my concern there. Like, you have established this staff, and him on his way out, it's no guarantee that one of his guys that he hopes to get the job will even get the job. Which now, so where does that leave the players who are there now that won't end up going into that transfer portal or leaving? Now you may, depending on, I don't know Jackson State, I don't know their history, but who do they bring? Do they go in and say, you know what, Deion's gone, he took such here. Hey, I know you was one of Deion's guys, but we're gonna go a different route. Now, what does that do? So that's what I'm saying.
Hold on 1 second, Earl. So I've been sitting back listening. So let me ask you a question, Shawn. What was he supposed to do?
Exactly.
How long was he supposed to stay? And how was this going to be an easy retreat? Whether he stayed 5 years, 10 years,
right?
How are we going to still paint the same picture?
Right? You think he's supposed to wait for ass Miami to call him?
Right.
No, I mean, like it's a. I know this is. I knew my opinion was going to be unpopular. It's fine. I'll stand on it. I will stand on it. But at the same time, I'm not going to paint Deion as a sellout or nothing like that. My issue is this, and I said it from the beginning. Fair or not fair, when you get someone from our community, someone who's black that does great, they unfairly get that savior aspect put on back to them. I feel like, even though that you always get hated, we always talking about, if you go back to slavery days, you got folks out there that hated the fact that some black people actually came up in those days. They actually had their own land, and you had other black people disliking them. That whole, you want to say the conversation happening today between light skin and black skin. My thing is, I think that the job has been left unfinished. That's my opinion. Okay. That's my opinion. And I'm gonna say, and something that it hit even harder last night. I'm watching the game because I watch their games. And thing I saw, and if you guys, the broadcast for the SWAC championship last night, even with everything that Deion and that team has done, the championship game between them and Southern looked like some shit that I've seen. I've seen high schools have better broadcast, and this is on ESPN too, and they had better broadcast viewership than, as far as like look. It looked so bad, so much so I had a missus sit next to me. Natasha was like, "Is that a high school team?" I'm like, "No, that's the SWAC championship game." And she goes, "That's Deion." Yeah, right. So I'm looking at that, and that's what I mean. But I think there was a lot. Hopefully, to you guys' point, that someone else picks up that baton and continues to apply that pressure to, so not so just to the SWAC and HBCUs, but it also forces ESPN, if they get any Fox game stuff, to them to continue to put that spotlight. Otherwise, we're gonna be having the same conversation, or it's gonna get pushed to the back.
But that's where I was going with it. That's where I was going with it. I'm glad you just said that. Even if he would have stayed, even if it would have got to the point where now this school, different HBCUs, particularly from the SWAC, are now on these big team schedules and stuff like that. As soon as he would have left, who's to say it wouldn't have changed?
Right.
Right.
And then you would be still having the same conversation that you're having right now.
Like you said, Shawn, you said he wanted you that say to finish the job. What does that mean? What is finishing the job? Like, to me, that's an unrealistic expectation you have of the one person. Like, how can he stay to finish the job? What would ever be considered finishing the job?
Right. And then my thing is to add on to what Dave and Eric was saying is like, again, it's not, that shouldn't just fall on one person. He was the catalyst Now it's up to the people there. He showed y'all what it could be.
Right.
Now it's like, I bet. How
Gave
do
you the
we keep? How do we keep this train moving? You know what I'm saying? Like if his aid, if the AD, he already gave you a recommendation. This man put your school on the map. So if
Now-
anything, you should be at least listening to his recommendations. He recommended,
let me-
which we hold on. He recommended what he already wanted as a coach, right? So if the AD was smart and knowing what he brought to that school, then you know what? In order to continue at least the success, regarding the kids that are there, make them feel comfortable, make some of them feel like, you know what, let me at least stay here because I have some familiarity here. Then you know what? The AD needs to make that right decision. But if they choose to go in a different route, then again, it's gonna negate everything that he did.
And let me tell you where everything's being messed up right now. And this is why I let off the way I did about media and stuff like that. And be conscious of what you're saying out of your mouth. Deion leaves now, getting this backlash and things like that, and getting these judgments. Who now wants to pick up that baton and do
exactly?
If you're going to be hated on so much
right.
for coming down there and putting something on the map, and then you leave on out, who with this type of backlash that he's getting, and say I'm that big guy, and I'm like, okay, now I want to go down to Southern, I want to go down to Graham. No, I don't want to do it because what's going to be the point? Nothing's going to be good enough. No and matter what I do, I can go undefeated like Deion. I can do these different type of things, bring these different classes in. But when I decide to leave, now it's like I left my people.
Right. To ask for another Eddie Robinson is not realistic. You can't ask somebody to become the next Eddie Robinson.
Right. Oh, I'm not asking that at all. Like I said, that's
the only. I mean, what's finishing the job? Tell me what's your definition of finishing the job?
Right.
If nothing else, if you want to be technical, you can finish out the contract itself, graduate a class if you want to be technical aspects to it.
He's not the only person to leave before a contract.
He's not. He's not. You know, he's not.
I mean, I don't think his contract specifically stated you must be here until the first class you bring in graduates. So that's not a part of his contract, and that's not considered finishing the job.
Who knows what his contract is? Nobody said he signed a 4 or 5 year contract.
I doubt if his contract says you have to stay here until this date in particular. I'm pretty sure the contract don't say that either. So once again, that's not considered finishing the job.
Right.
You know, obviously once he gets to his last year, they're going to offer him an extension. And if he refuses to take the extension, now you got a whole nother thing. Well, why is Deion not taking Jackson's extension? Does he not really want to be here? It never stops.
Yeah, and Shawn, to your point, we all agree in a sense, but I think what I want you to understand, and we're all saying the same thing somewhat. Selfishly, yes, we wanted him to stay because we saw the impact. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we also as humans, we can't just look at it from one aspect. Because we're asking this guy to do something that we know good and well we wouldn't do. We all got families and things of that nature. Not to say that he's pressed for money and stuff like that, but he does want to broaden his horizons and stuff like that in terms of within his career as a coach. You know what I'm saying? And then you also got to understand too, like I was saying before, like he's not just looking at it from his standpoint. He's looking at it from he got kids. He got kids that are actually really good. You know what I'm saying? He understands that he got kids that came in, and I'm pretty sure some of them are going with him. He got coaches that he's worried about. Like, it's a lot that he's thinking about. So it's like at the end of the day, if you was in his shoes, it's easy for us to be like, we stayed. Nah, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Because if somebody came calling that was going to change your financial outlook and also your opportunity.
It depends.
And the resources,
you can't cast that. You can't cast that on it because it's what is your purpose in doing this. Coaching is a big responsibility.
Okay. I didn't want to touch on this, but now I gotta go to you personally, Shawn. You were a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
You coached down for Tri City, right?
Mm-hmm.
You left, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You left for a better opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
Did you leave for a better opportunity?
No, not really.
Okay. All right. So my thing is, you're down there, you're changing kids' lives. It hurt them personally that you left because you were a change maker within their lives.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe, I mean, not a Deion Sanders. We're not talking on, but every change is different.
Yeah.
But you made the decision for whatever reason you did to leave on out. Somebody else had to pick up that baton of where you were at, and they kept them going. But they still had that missing space of you. We're not coming at you going, oh, you left those kids behind.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And that's the point that I'm trying to make about Deion on a bigger level. Now, his story is out there 24/7 on the media, the way that they want to spin it. And I'm like, just let's not do that. State our opinions. That's fine. But don't paint the picture as if, oh my God, Deion, what the hell are you doing, Deion?
Right.
Oh, you shouldn't even went there then, Deion.
But see,
that's
that's
your contract, Deion.
Where was that located at?
Say again?
Where was that located at?
Newport News. You mean the city?
Okay. So if now just being honest with yourself, if the phone call came in from Norfolk or from Hampton, and they offered you their position,
Eric, say that
would
again.
you have turned it down?
No, say that again. Say that statement again.
Being
honest.
Oh, yeah, being honest with yourself.
Being honest with yourself.
If the phone call came in from Norfolk State or from Hampton that they wanted you to come to their school and be their coach, would you have turned it down?
Because I was working towards that anyway. Yeah, I would have.
All right then.
You would have turned it down?
Oh no, turn it. Oh, you said turned it down. I'm sorry. I would have looked into it.
Yeah,
You'd have took it. Right. Exactly. You wouldn't have turned it down. Exactly.
And this is what my thing is. Yo, and what Dave was saying,
and no time would have been a good time to leave. And that's what I'm saying.
No,
and what Dave was saying was a great point. Even though you're not with these particular kids, yo, you're still working with kids. You still gonna have an impact. When I leave and I go to a different job, yo, absolutely, I love the kids that I work with.
You didn't leave them behind. I hear you talk about them all the time.
Yeah, I didn't leave them behind. They still in contact with me. You know what I'm saying? I left an impression on them kids. You understand what I'm saying? I did what I was supposed to do while I was there. Now, you know what? As a man, as a father, as a human, I had to make a decision for various reasons. And guess what? I'm not leaving kids. I'm just going to go work with some different kids to hope to leave the same impression on those kids. That's the same thing that Deion is doing. You know what I'm saying? He's just looking. I'm not negating. Like I said, we just mad. People just mad because
don't say the people because you don't talk to me. I'm not mad. Okay. I said, what is your purpose? Real purpose. And to Dave's point, because I won't get that because the reason I left there was personal. It wasn't for a better opportunity. Let's just get that straight now. It was personal why I left. But while I was there, that purpose that I got into coaching because I absolutely loved that game on them. And not even to compare, we didn't even get paid for that at all.
Right.
But when I did leave, my concern is, and I think I did put a message on Facebook. Somebody asked me about it. My concern is what are you leaving there? And do they understand what's going on? So when I left, the staff that was under us with me was still there. They understood, and they understood why I left in that case. The reason I stayed there was to help build that program itself because we were in a league that was looked at as subpar, even though we had all the talent. So whether it was cleaning helmets or painting, stuff like all that stuff we did because we enjoyed that aspect. So I'm not negating what Deion is doing. What I'm stating is this. He leaves a place because this is an HBCU. We know how underappreciated that is. And for me, and like I said, it's a personal aspect, maybe I wanted to see more out of HBCU as a whole and knowing that, okay, who's ever that lightning rod for that guy? Unfairly, it might have been Deion, and maybe everybody will follow suit. Same thing like what we did. Everybody follow suit. Hell, we even had other coaches leave their teams to come under because they like what we were doing. But again, like I said,
also in the beginning, we also said at the end of the day, none of us will know why he left. Right. So it may have been personal too.
Right. And that's the point I was going to. What if it was personal? Because you could have been, you just said it was personal for you, right? What if one of the mothers of the kids that you was working with and they say, hey man, I love how you work with little Kareem. Yo, you made such an impact on Kareem. When Kareem, before you got here, Kareem wasn't doing X, Y, and Z. Then when you broke the news that you was leaving, it's like, oh man, why you leaving? Why you letting them down? Like, that's not on you to hold. Like, you left for a personal reason. Had nothing to do with the kids. You don't know what his reasoning is. And it's not fair. It is not fair that people are putting all of this on him when they don't know all of the stuff that he was
And it's
dealing
gonna
with.
ruin the opportunity of somebody else.
Exactly. And
picking
that's
up
the
the
point.
baton,
That's the
'cause
point that we're
I'm like,
saying.
I'm not gonna go through that, so I'm good.
Right.
I'm not
And
gonna come.
to be completely honest, like I said, I think to close it up and put everything in perspective is just from looking at the four of us plus our two extended guys being Malik and Gary that's here with us every week, so I consider them a part of our 4-man our crew. So between the 6 of us, 4 out of the 6 of us went to an HBCU, and we're in agreement that to us being alums from the HBCU, we're happy of what Dion did by coming down to HBCU, doing what he did, and we're all fine with him moving on to his next spot. Like I said, for us, it's just who's the next one to step in. That's the way I think that all 4 of us are looking at it.
Right.
Who picks up the reign?
We'll end it on that point there. So of course, you guys listen to the Hot Seat, or watching, in this case, Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk, where we come and give all our unfiltered conversation, everything that's in between, and probably some betting as well. So from the college space,
hey, I won again last night.
Right.
Speaking of, my bad, yo, Dave.
Oh man, we're talking about after that.
That's Michigan.
Keep the show going.
And Georgia screwed me, son.
Oh my god.
Georgia screwed me, dog.
So,
I needed 12 more yards. My bad. Go ahead, Shawn. I'm sorry.
So from college over to the pros, man. Recap on our Thursday night game. Bills over the Patriots. 24-10. Did you guys watch that game? It wasn't a complete snoozer. But
let me ask y'all this question.
I hit something on that game too.
I did too. Then they screwed me. Yo, do the Bills look different?
They do. Why do they look different, Earl?
I don't know. I really don't know, bro.
Is it because
Patriots screwed on that game by missing that field goal?
The Bills look like they just don't have. They didn't put some seasoning on it. Like they ain't look like they looked in the first couple of games. Like they look.
Would it be because their quarterback is injured?
It could be, but even with that, like you seen. So I forget what game he got injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, like
we spoke about it.
You still saw like that killer mentality. Like he was just like putting it out there. Like I was even shocked. Matter of fact, the game that he played, that I think this was the game after he got injured. He still showed up.
Yeah, and
it looked like you ain't even know he was injured. But it's just like after that, it just seemed like something.
I'm gonna tell you what it looked. I'm gonna tell you what they're missing, and this is the stat line. He's injured already. We know. Josh Allen, 18 for 34 pass attempts, and he has that injury in his elbow, I believe it is.
Yeah.
205, 2 interceptions. You know who the leading rusher in that game? Josh Allen.
Right,
Josh Allen. The second person was Devin Singletary with 24 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So why they look different? They don't have a running game if it ain't Josh Allen.
Hey, can I add something to that?
But it's always been like that.
It's not even just about the running game. It's about how he runs.
That too.
Because he runs like a running back.
Right.
There'll be 3 people tackling him, and he's trying to take them on.
Shawn.
And bro, I need you.
Shawn,
you need to go down.
Facts.
He doesn't go down at all.
But if you go back and look at the stats, bro, Singletary and then the guy before that was Moss. Neither one of them had more rushing yards than him like that. No,
what I mean by that is the way, if you look at how they played last year and even the year before that, they had a complement of a running game. It was kind of like, what do you say?
Put that last one up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't.
You know why?
They don't.
Well, yeah.
They don't. Yeah, they don't. And you know what? And you know who's not hurt? You know who's not hurting that? Lamar Jackson. He doesn't take those hits. But to your point, Earl, so yes, he was a
more
rusher.
play call for Josh Allen than run than this for Lamar to run.
Right. Right.
Design plays.
They had a system as far as their running game, similar to kind of what Kansas City does. They don't have one bell cow back, but they always had like a multitude of guys, and then they gave you kind of like a balance type thing. They don't have that in Buffalo at all. I mean, he had 34 passing attempts with a fucked up elbow.
Do you think Gordon can still run?
Yeah.
Nah.
I think he can still run. He can't. He's got to hold on to the ball.
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon.
He can run. He just can't hold the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, they fixed it with Tiki.
But Gordon's on.
Tiki ain't Gordon. Ain't
Gordon's on Kansas City practice squad.
Yeah.
I think
so. That's
he did get pulled over. Okay.
Yeah, so somebody thought something in him. I mean, they're going to use him. Buffalo, they're making a really, really bad mistake. They're going to use the shit out of Josh Allen. His arm going to fall off, or he going to take that one big hit at the wrong time, and all their hopes are going to go downhill. I hope it don't happen, but that's what it's lining up to be. Because without him, that's it.
I'm just saying, since Josh Allen has been there, I can't remember like one running back that has really been that guy there since he's been there. Like, he has been the running game. For real, for real. Please name one running back since he's been there who has been that guy. Or that has helped that has or at least let me even say this, that has contributed to their run game.
Exactly. See, they've never had the one guy. Is what I'm saying. They never had.
That's
the
what
one
I'm
guy.
saying.
They've just had the multitude of actually players themselves.
So my point is, I'm not attributing it just to the run game because he has been their run game. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying that something else, which I know he's injured, but something else looks different. I don't know what it is, but something, because this is a guy, you know, as somebody who bets a lot, this is a guy who was damn near averaging 300 yards. Like, I'm talking about, he would damn near go into the second half with almost 200 yards. You know what I'm saying? Now it's to the point where, like, if I'm putting
please don't say the yardage because I lost.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. But now it's to the point where I'm putting down the bet, and before, 225 was a guarantee for him.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
So Earl, so just to make sure, because I had to pull it up, only the last 2 seasons has he been really involved in the run game. Prior to that, going all the way back to 2019, you remember Frank Gore? So they had Frank Gore, Devin Singletary. Those were the 2 primary rushers, and then Josh Allen was behind them.
Okay, well, that's totally different. Frank Gore is what, number 3?
Right, exactly.
Number 3 in all-time rushing?
He's a formidable running back, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about after that, and he was on the tail end, and 2, this was his first year. So they were still trying to understand how to use, and get accustomed to Josh Allen. Because if we remember that his first year wasn't that great.
Yeah. First 2 years,
His first 2 years wasn't all that great. It wasn't until they figured out, I bet this is how we need to use him. And once he got into his rhythm, you saw it like, he was right. Exactly. You saw they realized how to use him, but once he got into his bag, he was the Russian. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. I'm just trying to ask you, what else is there? What else is wrong with this team?
That, I mean, they are missing. What's the name on defense right now? He's out for the rest of the season.
I'm talking about offensively.
Offensively, they're not balanced, man. Like, they literally, even if you have 2 running backs, that's fine. Hell, Kansas City got 9, seemed like, but they're using Josh Allen in a way he's their end all be all. Yep. They're using him in a way that is not going to work out very well with him because of the style of run. At today's point, the way he runs.
What's his touchdown interception ratio
for this season?
He seems more careless this year.
Well, he's always been. See, that's the thing. He's always been that.
Let me see.
He's always been that. The thing is, and I think we said it before, he just throws with so much velocity that it's like hot potato when a defender's there. Like, there's a lot of times, man. But right now he's 25-11.
Yeah,
this year.
I'm looking at it.
And then if you go last year, he could have had more.
36-15 last year.
Yeah, he could have had a lot more interceptions. So that's the stuff that they don't count. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they just don't hold the ball, but they aren't balanced, man. They really aren't.
I mean, their rushing situation is worse than, and I'm not trying to come at y'all, Eric. Their rushing situation is worse than the Ravens, and the Ravens actually got good running backs. You understand?
See, they got injuries though.
But they got injuries, right? That's what they're dealing with. They got injuries. My thing is, they never actually brought in somebody who was a complimentary rusher to Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? It ain't been one since Frank Gore. Because Moss ain't it. No disrespect to Singletary, he ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I think, matter of fact, the best one over there right now got to be Cook, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, they need to give him some more touches because he was actually moving the ball. But again, like I said, like I think we all can agree that it's not as balanced, but he has been the rushing for the past couple of seasons.
It is, but it's not working for them. in comparison, their counterparts who should still be, I think a lot of us might have got ahead of ourselves and like, hey, Buffalo is the odds-on favorite. Not so much, because if you look over in Kansas City, this is their rushers. They got Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those are their 2 rushing guys. They got 455 and 302. And then you got Patrick Mahomes. He has 274, but his is like broken runs. It's not called, I think Eric said it's not called design runs for Patrick Mahomes.
And they got 20,000 receivers.
Yeah. So, and even a lot of their passing, those kind of count as rushing, even though it's going to pass, because it's like screens and stuff like that, but it ends up going for yards. They don't do that in Buffalo. And that is crazy, because they're in the elements. You would have thought that they would run a lot more. And you would have thought they would have signed somebody like a Melvin Gordon, knowing the fact that your quarterback's injured and you need a running game.
Yeah, but you like, why place emphasis on a running back when I have a running back and a QB?
I mean, but Mahomes also has one of the best, I should say, one of the best safety nets out there.
Yeah,
he does.
Which is Travis Kelce. Exactly.
Right. So right now we're looking at, are they still the favorite? Everybody is Buffalo still that favorite?
Honestly, who I think the favorite is right now is KC.
Yeah.
KC is just dominant in my opinion.
Didn't we say that before? Like when Chicago should have been the favorite every year, but they decided, we just gonna say Utah is the favorite this year. We're gonna give this MVP to Karl Malone. Because people got tired of seeing Chicago.
But you know what also, what changes though between football and basketball? It's just the injuries, because the injuries will make and break, which your potential could have been. So it's
but Chicago wasn't injured. They still had Jordan. They just
but basketball, injuries in basketball are not the same in football. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of you're more prone to get injured in football than you are in basketball.
No, I got that. But at what point after that playoff game that the Bills lost, all of a sudden everybody was like, Buffalo is going to be the team to beat next season, because of course Kansas City ended up losing to Cincinnati because they completely threw up all over themselves.
I think it's who that is.
But honestly,
their paper. On paper.
Yeah, but honestly, Kansas City was probably if you really look at it, they were probably the best team the last few, even though they didn't win the chips. They were probably the best team one time. Not, it was like the any given Sunday type thing going on.
I mean, look at the Chargers, bro. The Chargers have all the potential in the world. What kills them is that they are injured. You know what I'm saying? They could have been, or they could be in the conversation with the Bills and KC, but injuries killed them. You understand what I'm saying? You can't. Like, they have probably one of the best wide receiver corps in the NFL. Well, Palmer over there, you got Keenan Allen, you got Guyton, and then you got the other boy, Williams. You know what I'm saying? They probably got hands down the best. And then you still got Eckler over there. You understand what I'm saying? So, which is another, if you, depending on how you playing, he's another receiver. So, like, they could have been in that same kind of talk, but injuries killed them. And that's why I said that's the difference.
The Chargers to get right. Hey, these are nice Bills dynasty, except they got the one chip.
Right. Shoot.
Like, is the Chargers
the
like
Bills
that?
Dynasty? I mean, the Bills dynasty of the past playing today would have won all those joints.
Absolutely. Because now ain't no real defense. And since you brought it up, are the Chargers the can't get right team? Because remind you that what you just said, Earl, you can literally take that all the way back to the Phillip Rivers days. It's they got all the potential in the world. It's always been that, and they fell short. I would say every year.
The difference now.
They like the Clippers of the NFL.
They only can't get right because they dealt with injuries. I felt like with Phil Rivers and them, it was a little bit different.
No, you didn't. Antonio Gates was injured a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, Phil Rivers wasn't making all the best decisions.
Bro, go back and look at that team. That team was like that, and every year they couldn't get past whoever.
Phil Rivers, he dropped the ball on some of that. Like, he just couldn't.
He throws weird.
He couldn't take. Yeah, his throwing motion. The fact that he got in the NFL with that throwing motion,
it's crazy.
It's disgusting. If a black quarterback throwing like that, he would not be.
You ain't lying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right now they will. Here's the question though. So I saw this story that came up real quick, man. I can get to read it all in totality, but I pulled this from it. So the talking it was potentially this year. We don't know how Tampa Bay is going to end the season. I doubt they win a championship. If they do, then Brady just right off in the sunset, bro. If you pull this off, shit, whatever. But if the season ends, they'll probably win their division, and they may be a one and done in the playoffs, maybe not. But I was reading this article, man, that is whispers that Tom may go back to New England. Should he go back? The question is, should he go back to New England?
He goes back to New England. That's a Super Bowl contending team.
I agree.
Because you put him and Belichick together, that's a Super Bowl contention. Now, here's my thing. He left for a reason.
Because it's lack of talent?
I think it was bigger than that.
Money?
No, it was an ego thing. He left.
Yeah, that's too. The other part. That's like third part. Ego. Yeah.
He left the proof, and he did what he proved when he went out the proof. He did it without Bill.
He did.
And
so he could go back now.
Yeah.
And they can shake hands and go and win again.
But here's my thing. Who's going to be the catalyst for him going back? Is it him going back?
Robert Kraft?
Or
Robert Kraft will be the catalyst to make that call.
No. It's not even. It has nothing to do with Kraft because Kraft ain't the problem. I think the
you mean okay? I'm sorry.
I think the person who needs to make that call.
Oh yeah, Bill would have to reach out personally and sit there and say, "I want you back. I want you here."
Right. But do you see Bill doing that?
No,
exactly.
No, I don't. Here's the reason why Tom's not going back to New England.
Because for real, who does it benefit for Tom to go back to New England? Is it him or is it Bill?
At this point in time, they're going to sit there and say that Tom is the reason for the championships, unless Bill can win one without Tom. So I mean, I don't think Bill wants Tom to come back.
Nah,
very true. Yeah,
but we was wrong about that Deion situation, so I can't even say. This is you never know. You never know.
So seeing this story, man, it took me down this rabbit hole, and I want to get you guys say, pick whatever you want to go with this particular thing. So there's been a lot of moves that were made in the off season. Return to sender. What were some of the worst moves?
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave. Speak for me.
Carson Wentz. What the hell were y'all thinking?
Oh no, that ain't what I thought.
This was easy. This was easy. Hey, look, Carson Wentz.
You can't get nobody. Dave came at you first today, okay?
Yeah, he did. He did. Hey, man, look, I agree.
You already know, bro.
I know. Did y'all? Were you not there for the draft party when I lost my motherfucking mind? I knew this was bad. I knew this was bad.
Not? What was? Have you not?
Have seen my movies?
Bro, he was in the same division as you all these years, missed the glass. Then he goes out to the Colts, who had a team that was set up for a championship. Only a quarterback away. He get up there. There he goes. And then y'all go, off of what he did up there with the Colts, let's bring him on back.
Thank you, Gary. And I'm actually shocked.
I'm gonna go to that one.
No, I'm actually shocked that he ain't say that. That's what I would have led.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
Galladay was
never
the
even.
Worst.
That was a pasture of money.
Galladay.
That's what that was.
Galladay was the worst
Galladay.
because of the contract. You know what I'm saying? He was the worst because of the contract and like just the future of how like that just screwed the Giants for a little bit. That's why I say like that was probably the worst move. You know what I'm saying? Like
it was very, very
that was 100% horrible.
The only reason it didn't pop up at the top for me is because it wasn't done by this regime.
Got you. Okay.
So it's a new regime in town. It's like, yes, that last one did fuck up. Yes. But the picture is being painted clear now. On yours, that's your squad. They pulled that. Yeah, they're horrible. So that's why I was saying.
Here's mine.
But yeah, Galladay was a pasture of money.
The worst move that was done, and it's not even a player, it's a coach. And the jury may still be out, but right now it ain't looking too good. Josh McDaniels going to the Vegas Raiders, man. Last year, if y'all remember, they went 10-7 last season. They had a lot of turmoil. They lost one player to they lost two players, if I'm correct. They lost one receiver to I think it was a domestic violence or something along those lines. Yeah, the other one who killed somebody in a car accident, car crash. And this year they are 4-7.
And
what
everybody this year with Devontae Adams.
Right. So Devontae Adams right now is on the way to another 1,000-yard season. You got Josh Jacobs, who were one of the top 2 backs in the league. They are 8th in passing yards, 13th in rushing. They're 10th in overall scoring. Defense, they're 26th. And this is the second go around for Josh McDaniels. Yes, he had limited success with Tim Tebow in Denver. But this Vegas team, and they're in a division that's supposed to have been the best division of all time, and that's not even close. And they are 4-7. And he looks like he does not need to be. He's like one of those guys, just be a coordinator, bro. A leader of men, ain't you?
Well, no, I'm not even gonna say just a leader of men. I just feel like he don't have the personality to deal with these cats. Like they in Vegas. Like you kind of need somebody with a little bit of edge. He's too clean cut to be trying to lead a bunch of grown men in Vegas. Like I don't think he's ready yet. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would say he's definitely one of the worst. I think another bad move, and they paying for it. Was what's my man Matt Rule?
Matt Rule,
Yeah,
Carolina.
Yeah, that was.
Well, they're paying him $40 million, and he just got the job in Nebraska.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
Wow. You talk about Galladay throwing money away. At least he's still on the roster.
Right.
This fool, he don't even work there no more. You still got to pay
$40 million, bro. Jeez.
Oh, you want me to leave? Where my check?
Yeah.
And I think his contract with Nebraska, I want to say is 8 years, roughly $9 million per, something like that.
Yeah, they probably was looking at. He probably was like, "Hey man, look, the 80 probably came to him and was like, yo, look, I know you still getting the bag from Carolina. You know, you think you could cut us? No, I mean my money.
But it's still $72 million, and if they fire him, they will have to pay him. I feel like he got Kirk Cousins' agent.
Yo.
Right. Eric, who's your worst? Is he still with us?
He might be taking the ish.
Okay. Oh my Lord. I just gave you mine. Yeah, and then Dave started off with the
save Gary's. That's gonna be its own topic as far as watching.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Yeah, that's a whole separate thing. But I wanted to get Eric's take on what he thought was the worst move this season. Not bad. By far. Oh yeah. So who's your worst? Your return to sender, man. Who's the worst move? You think?
Oh man.
It could be any team or any person. It could be, it don't have to necessarily be.
It was before Jeff Saturday. It was going to be Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he's actually kind of looked. I mean, he didn't look good, but he ain't looked as bad since Jeff Saturday got there, and they got Jonathan Taylor back.
That last game, he looked horrible, bro.
No. I didn't say he looked good. Once again, I said he hasn't looked good. Yeah. He just didn't look as bad, and they actually had an opportunity to still be able to win that game. As bad as he looked, they were still in that game with him looking as horrible as he did. So I mean, hey,
look, he got Smith going to the Vikings. We're still paying him to sack us. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Speaking of getting paid, this move is looking pretty bad, and they can't get out of it, and you're seeing it fall apart. We talk about Russell having an issue. That contract they gave to Kyler Murray,
that's another one.
That is a bad move because now you got your players. Patrick Peterson. Yeah.
Hold on. But the first thing you said,
Russell. Yeah, that's that too. Both of them go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
I try to believe, Russ. I try, man.
Yeah, man. It's just looking bad all the way around. Oh God.
Woo.
He looked cooked. Like he looks cooked. Like he does.
It's bad.
I mean, and
it's bad.
You got that, and what I will say is all the other stuff that goes with Russell. Russell is who he is. But if he was playing well, nobody would care about all the other stuff. He just looks bad. Kyler, still young, they paid him all that money, and he's coming. He's slowly falling into that Zach Wilson category, man. He just getting paid the bread. Like, a lot of stuff out there, man, and it's not like rumors. They don't really rock with Kyler Murray, man, in Arizona. And Patrick Peterson saying what he said kind of puts that out there. and you can't get rid of the dude because his contract is crazy. It's crazy. It's yeah, those two itself. So yeah, we'll see how that all stuff goes. The end of the season be a Carson Wentz absolutely was a horrible
For
thing,
those
but
of you that don't
surprise me
know,
though.
Earl is looking at his bet lines right
He
now.
really
right.
is
Go
right there.
ahead.
So
I'm looking at the weekly specials. I'm on it again. Sorry.
Yeah.
So over the weekend, he had a visit, and it's been kind of like the World's Waldo show, but just replace Waldo with OBJ.
Put the phone down, Earl.
Yeah,
Put the phone down.
So he went in and visited. From what I understand, he went in and visited the Bills. He's been tied to the Cowboys, the Giants as well. You know, he's been doing like that, you know, all around the world type thing. I saw a story that says that he wants to stay in New York. What it says, because he likes the Big Apple and all that stuff. What do y'all think, man? What do you think? What you got,
Earl, give the pitch. Give the pitch, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, right.
Get this brother in.
All right. So
He's listening.
Right.
first of all, I wanted to say that we apologize on everything that happened with the last regime. He is not us, and we are not him. Okay.
Facts.
And if you don't know who I'm talking about none other than Dave Gettleman. He absolutely screwed the hell out of us. And honestly speaking, his ass needs to be whooped for that. Secondly, the other thing is, if I look at the three teams, right, and I'm taking my bias out of it. If I'm looking at the three teams, right, in terms of needs, the only two teams that I could say that really could use him is the Bills and the Giants. But out of all the three teams, there's only one team that really needs him. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys don't need him. The Cowboys want him. You know what I'm saying? They have they have wide receivers, okay? The Bills, they actually have wide receivers, yo. You know what I'm saying? They don't need him, they want him, but he could be a nice fixture. The Giants, you know who the Giants number one is? And it switches, I feel like, every couple weeks. But right now, it's Slayton now. You understand? You see that? It's Slayton now. Every couple weeks it changes, bro.
Never was Galladay though. Keep going.
It was never Galladay.
Right.
Sometimes sometimes it might have been Waddell. You know what I'm saying? At one point, for maybe like a week, it was Sterling Shepard. You know what I'm saying?
Then it was Tony,
I remember
and then
it had a little bit of Tony. I think a little inclination of Richie James. We was like, "Who this kid?" At one point, me and Dave was like, "Yeah, I like this kid."
And then he fumbles away.
And then reality struck. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like it switches up. We could really use him, even if they don't throw him the ball. You know what it's going to do? He's going to garner attention, and it's going to open it up. Plus, he get to come on back home. Now, my thing is, if we talking about business decision, he probably should go to the Cowboys. Only because, and I hate to say that, only because of the facilities, in terms of he's playing indoors and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to run this man. They don't have to overwork him because, again, he has other weapons over there. He comes to the Giants, he's already the X. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, I feel like it's bigger than that. The biggest thing is the fact that, I don't care what nobody say, he like attention. You know what I'm saying? The one place you're going to get the attention, there's no media like the New York, New Jersey media in the world. You know what I'm saying? You do what you do. You do what you need to do here. You're not going to be no bigger any other place. You know what I'm saying? He can kill and with the Cowboys. He ain't going to get that same love like he's going to get in this New York, New Jersey area. You know what I'm saying? It's the biggest media market in the world. So at the end of the day, my pitch, and this is my last pitch, come on home, OBJ. And then I heard, my last point is I heard that they offered him a 3-year deal. They didn't say what the numbers was, but they said if it was to work and because of our situation, we would have to offer him a long-term deal, which I'm okay with. I'm perfectly fine with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just about what we're going to do, what we're going to pick. And to be honest with you, if I feel like if you're going to choose a cold weather team, there ain't no point to go to the Bills You might as well just stay with the Giants, bro.
I will just say this real quick. So out of those teams and everything, as far as the Giants, remember we had the conversation about Belichick and Brady.
Yeah.
Our owner would have to have that straight conversation with OBJ because even though the last regime's not there, the owner's there. He let that go.
He let that go.
So he dropped that bag, and yeah, you got to plead with me. You got to pull wait. You got to pull the same way they pulled everything as far as LeBron going back to Cleveland. Like you know what you did. Now, kind of bow down in this sense.
But no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I don't think both of them need to kind of have a convo because I think they were split. You know what I'm saying? I think
it was Murray.
Yeah, it was Mara. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But I think, and it wasn't necessarily like Mara was like, "Yo, you gotta go." I just think that Mara was just really letting Gettleman cook.
That's still his fault.
But you're right.
Because if you got somebody that you want and you're the owner, it's not gonna happen anyway.
Right.
Secondly, that field, even though
that's
it's
why
changed around,
that's what I was gonna get into.
We don't know that field's getting
changed. Let me tell you something. The other conversation would have to be because they already talked. Because Julian Love already came out. And said, "Hey, look, y'all need to change this field." And they said they're going to change it, and they also agreed that they're going to talk to the team to see what their thoughts were before they make the investment. And I think that's just more so like it's going to happen. It's just like, what would y'all prefer?
But that's still a question mark.
Like that's another selling point for OBJ. That if they change that field, the likelihood of him coming and say, "You know what? I bet I got something that I could work towards."
That was going to be my thing. That was going to be my thing. I would love to see him back in New York, but I hate seeing him back in New York because of his ACL and because of that field. Hell, they're not even playing Chase. They haven't said it, but they've said it on a bunch of spots around here.
Not because
of the field.
But it don't even matter because he got hurt with every team that he's going.
Well, here's the thing. But I got that though. But ACL and turf don't mix.
Everybody gets hurt on offense
because it doesn't move. And all turf isn't built the same. The team that I thought would have been interesting for him to go to, even though I don't think he shouldn't go to Buffalo because you can see what's happened to Josh Allen. His arm gonna fall off, so that's not gonna work out for him. Dallas, of course, I don't want to see him in Dallas. I would have thought a good spot for him to go to, if they could have made it, was him going down to Tampa Bay and playing with Tom.
So he can have another weapon. I'm good.
I just think he would do well there, or another option. And
Gordon,
it's turf.
Julio,
it's
Mike Evans ain't enough for him.
It's turf, but they have a really good their facility. Their field is really good. Him being in Baltimore, a la like a Steve Smith, who came to Baltimore. Now it's a different quarterback, but I think he would do well in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson.
But also think about it like this. At the end of the day, he got his championship.
He does.
He got a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, and football is different because it don't always come for you. You can play 10, 12 seasons and never sniff it. But my thing is like, I think the story of it, he became OBJ at the Giants. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He became who he was. He had other teams looking at him because of what he did with the Giants. Just come back home. It's like it's like LeBron, son. LeBron was the golden child for Cleveland. He could have won all these championships elsewhere. It wouldn't have mattered. He had to come home and make it right. After that, then you could go, but you got to come home. It don't count unless you bring it back home.
That fanhood is there.
That's that pitch, right?
Yep, that's the pitch.
Am I lying, Eric? Dave, am I lying?
Just end off with that and just go ahead.
You ain't lying. So we go from that extreme. One guy, where is OBJ to? Well, we know where this guy gonna be. Shawn Watson. 11 games later, he's going to get his first start. I guess he would be going, quote unquote, back home against the Houston Texans this week to get his first start playing for the Cleveland Browns. If you don't know who Deshaun Watson is, you've been hiding under a rock for the last, seemed like 2 years. Almost 3 now because he ain't played in literally that long. It's almost. And it's a lot of stuff that's surrounding this game, but the NFL being as smart as they are, they buried the hell out of this game. This is probably the most unappealing game there is this week. And it's played in Houston on top of that. And there's a bunch of other scenarios going on right now.
They probably won't even let it be broadcast on.
They won't even show that shit on Red Zone. But what is out there is 10 or 11 of his accusers, women, are planning on being at this game in Houston. For what purpose? We don't know. 10 of the 11, these are the ones that actually did settle, apparently.
Did they pay for tickets? Or?
Apparently, they're supposed to be there with the lawyer, Tony Busby. They're with him.
I was about to say Houston paid.
I'm not sure why. There's different takes. They're being there, so they say, "Hey, we're not to be forgotten" and stuff like that. But
can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Well, and I swear I'm not trying to be funny. The ticket thing I was trying to be funny, but this part I'm not trying to be funny. What reason do they have to be there? What are they holding up signs? Like what do they want?
I don't know.
I'm being dead ass serious.
They can't hold up signs. I'm pretty sure through their whole agreement and everything.
The NFL ain't about to have that.
So if that's the case, then why come to the game?
If in my opinion, I don't know if they're hoping that during that game, because this is not a Joe Buck, Troy Aikman game or nothing like that. This is gonna be a game that you don't even know the analyst probably, that they will perhaps mention that during the broadcast. Maybe I don't see the cameras panning over to them in the crowd or in the suite that they're in. I really don't know.
Because
I really don't know.
If everything happened, and I'm not defending him. If this thing happened, the last place, if I was them, that I would want to be is watching this fool going to his game and watching him play. So like that's why I'm trying to say, like, what purpose does it serve if this is even true to go to the game?
So this is what I got. This is a direct quote from the lawyer Tony Busby. They're read about and to answer your question, why are they there? Quote: this is weird who wrote this. They thought it important. This is literally how it says. They thought it important to make clear that they are still here and they matter. I was proud of them for that. Close quote. Says Tony Busby, the lawyer representing the accusers attending the game, told CNN in a statement. Quote: I have made that opportunity available to them, meaning he paid for their tickets. I haven't been to a Texans game in many years, but because they are going, I will go too. Close quote.
You know what? There's something else that I found interesting too, and I didn't know this until recently. And maybe Gary could put something in the chat about it. I didn't know that Cleveland set up their contract in a certain way with him.
I thought we talked about that.
Maybe we did, and I forgot about maybe. But yeah, I didn't realize that breakdown of just the 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only
for the first year.
For the first year,
yeah.
So he only lost 700,000.
Yep, and he gets to accrue a year, because if they had suspended it for the whole year, he wouldn't have got accrued that year.
Right.
So now he accrued that year as well. So yeah, it was a lot of stuff done.
This year, this pretty much was the year that they built it in, so that way if you get fined, you just lose this year worth of money for the most part.
But this year it was nothing.
Exactly right. This year was the money to cover your fine.
Right.
Huh. That's interesting.
Which no, we don't have to debate that. I just found that interesting that they did that. Like, you put yourself in that position to do that. Like,
they knew.
You know what I'm saying? The scrutiny. Well, they knew this was coming, but why would you want to tie yourself to that? Being known as, oh, y'all did this, so he couldn't pay it. It's just, this whole thing is just whatever, man. That's another. Here's my question though, football side. I saw a couple of the workouts he was doing. He clearly has been working out. The arm strength was there, but his receivers won't catching shit. Like, he was throwing stuff in practice, they were dropping balls, the thing.
The receivers don't change, bro.
Hey, yeah.
Right.
Because he there. He's
right. I guess Jacoby Brissett's like, I told you. I mean, it's right. Right. Like I was watching the video from them in practice, and I'm like, this is what you came back for?
You saying Brissett came on the field talking about good luck?
You're like, all right. I guess this is what you want.
They
guess.
Maybe they protesting like, nah, yo, bring us Jacoby back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the crueler irony to this is this year is a wash for them. I think they're 4-7. They will have to win all their games. If they won all games and somehow made some of this, you talk about a story. That'd be great. That'd be great for football and I don't know, bad for him, I guess. But if he does start back winning, a lot of this stuff goes away, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Look, look at Michael Vick. All the noise was made around the dog fighting, and then he was balling out in Philly, and then you had people that were showing up from before the game, but besides that,
Yeah.
So it's
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
I don't want to say much on this.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. We can talk about that, X-Man, but that's just what just what that is, man. Yeah, that's whatever. But yeah, nothing to see here. Exactly what said that. So this is a Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk with your boy Shawn, Dave, Earl, Eric. We're all here, man. Anybody get any big, before we go into our picks, anybody went out, anybody get any do some real good monetarily
I mean, I won
ups nicely last week, brother.
I won something on basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Something like last night I should have won.
Football wise.
Yeah, football wise, I should have won. I did the over on maybe like 6 or 7 different legs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize Georgia had like 4 running backs.
Yeah, they got a stable of running backs.
Well, that are actually, I always know Georgia has running backs, but I didn't know that they ran all of them.
Yeah.
And I had McIntyre going for like 66 and a half or something like that. He actually ran for 55. And and the funny thing was I had the opportunity. It was set up for me perfectly. It was set up for him to get that extra 12 yards. But see, the problem was they were smacking LSU so bad that they ended up bringing in like a 5th or 6th running back just to close it out. So I was like, man, and I'm talking about he had the whole 4th quarter to do it, yo.
You say, Earl, the dude that's registered, that's supposed to play this year, they put a uniform on him and let him play?
Yep.
Yes.
Get on out there, bro.
Yeah.
So while you betting and everybody doing their betting, shout out to Josh Allen on my 6-leg parlay for not getting 7 more yards. I appreciate it.
Wow.
I watched eagerly sitting back going, oh yeah, this is a wrap, especially by halftime. I was like, oh yeah, this is good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, Josh Allen. Wasn't good at all. I sat back and I'm watching this game, and my conversations with the family changed as the game got longer. From hey, what we doing tonight? Like, nah, leave me alone. I'm good.
In the words of Josh Jacobs, because he was talking about fantasy. I don't really care about your fantasy stuff because he put up numbers last week I think it was. But in the words of him, he's like, you're betting, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what it came down to.
Upgrades, huh?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right. Let me go back and talk about Galladay. Push that.
It'll just be.
And another thing.
Oh man. So let's go. Let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and pull up our picks this week. I didn't really want to do it.
Yeah, go on and lead the board.
Yeah,
so get that same energy, bro.
Oh man,
put that energy up. I see
the energy I got for the guy, man. Look. I had a horrible week, but Eric overtook the 3rd spot, man. Shout out to Eric, man. He overtook the 3rd spot, man.
Let's slow that shit down,
102.75. He moving up to the 4, man.
You on your ass, Dave. You on your ass.
Slow that shit down.
Earl still leading the way, man.
Bobby.
On your ass, Dave.
Yeah, I had a horrible week, bro. I had a horrible week. But salute because Eric started under 500.
Shawn asked me for the standings. I'm like, you sure?
I knew what it was. I knew it was so bad. But salute to Eric, man, because Eric at one point he started well under 500, and Eric was like, "Nope, just gonna keep on churning,
Don't do that.
keep
Put
on
some
churning."
respect
Man.
on that man's name.
He
Don't do
did.
that.
I mean, he did. Like he was making good.
I got
picks,
you,
man.
Eric. He
was
trying
making
to
good
be.
picks.
He trying to be funny, bro.
I'm really not. You know, it is what it is at this point.
I need an undefeated week just to bring me close.
And then salute to Gary and Malik, man, our weekly contributors, man, going 95 and 8-6, respectfully, man.
So you the only one that was under 5, 2 games under 5.
Yeah, it was bad.
Man,
it was
how you
bad.
feel about that?
I mean, you know, it's whatever. Okay, it's fine. It's cool. I ain't tripping. This is a big week this week for a lot of teams. The playoff race, and you know, salute to the NFC East before we get to our picks for being the best division this year, record-wise. You can say what you want about the teams, but the division, you know, by record-wise, because the AFC West is horrible, except for Kansas City.
Horrid.
And I think that's about it. Everybody else kind of sucks in that case. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into these picks, guys. Let's get it.
Let's get into it.
First up, Steelers at Falcons.
Ooh.
I got the Falcons, man. The Falcons just need a quarterback. I feel like their scheme they got is dope. They run a lot, but Marcus Mariota is the epitome of a running quarterback, literally, because his throwing is ass, as Eric would say. I don't remember him throwing like this at Oregon.
That's my.
I'm sorry, but you know, I thought Eric had coined it after this point.
No, that was an Earl thing.
I'm sorry. But yeah, Falcons got this one, man. I think Falcons got it.
That's why your record is what it is. I'm going with the Steelers.
I mean, you know, hey.
Damn it. Thought this would be my one. Who you got, Eric?
He don't want to say the Steelers.
I don't have the Falcons. I'm going to just leave it at that.
He don't want to say the Steelers, but he wanted to say the Steelers.
Yeah, Gary on the Steelers and Malik on the Falcons, man.
Shoot. And Eric picked them. Dang.
So you got to go with. Oh, no. It's on there. This ain't your one off. Just going to pick the Steelers, bro.
Yeah, I got the Steelers. Oh, man.
Broncos at Ravens. Broncos still got a good defense, but their offense is trash. I got Baltimore, and I want Lamar Jackson to have a really good day. They trying to paint him. If you guys saw that little Twitter exchange he had with that person, they trying to paint him in a negative light.
You know who did that?
Who?
That GM.
Oh shit!
That's the reason why I'm trying to say it.
I never thought about that shit.
Yeah, he telling me, yo, it's all strategic, bro.
Yeah,
he's
man,
like, you see, that's why I don't want to give him no guaranteed money, y'all.
Ball out, bro. Ball out, man.
You know what?
Ball out, bro.
No comment.
You know I ain't lying, Eric.
No comment.
No, I ain't lying.
Gary and Malik on the Ravens, man.
I think I know everybody's pick for this one.
Please don't make us out to be wrong, good Lord.
Yeah, I know. For real. Please don't.
Packers at Bears. I haven't seen if they decided on Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love today. Has anybody seen anything updated?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers probably going to play. He already kind of stated that.
Did he? Okay, I didn't know if they was going out. So Justin Fields is out. He's out.
Playing.
Is he playing?
Yeah.
I still got the Packers.
They got him on the bet.
Okay, still got the Packers.
Oh, let me double check.
I need them to update their injury report.
Hold on.
I got the Packers. Remember, Aaron Rodgers said he's going to play instead of mathematically.
Yeah, eliminated.
Yeah, I got the Packers.
All right.
The season's playing. Chase Young is out. Y'all know. Who did we just say before that? You said Fields?
Yeah.
Fields.
Oh, yeah, here you go. Yeah,
Malik got the Bears.
Yeah, he said Justin Fields was removed from the final injury report and will start Sunday versus the Packers.
Okay.
So, Gary, are you changing your pick? Who you got, Earl?
Oh, I have the Packers. Wait. What was the injury from Fields?
It separated shoulder, I believe.
Oh, so he's just gonna run all day.
Yeah, he's
Yo,
gonna run anyway.
I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Dang.
I'll say this. This is a hunch, and it's only having that type of injury before. You might want to pick the Packers defense today, because if you ever had a separated shoulder, it's more than that. Because now if you get like that stinger pinch nerve type, if he can't hold on to the ball, it may be a lot of turnovers today for him, especially if he's running a lot. So we'll see how that goes. Jags at Lions.
You know what?
Yeah.
Give me Detroit, yo. Give me Detroit.
Gary. What you gonna do, Gary? What you gonna do?
What they say, D-Town? That's what they say? D-Town?
Well, since Earl went with the Lions, I'm going with the Jags.
That's what I'm going with. So I'm going with Jacksonville.
I'm going with the Lions.
That's what I'm talking about, Eric.
All right. Actually, well, I need that. All right.
We both did have 10 wins last week.
Yeah.
This might be a Jersey Mike's day.
Gary said Lions. Malik got Lions as well.
You feel me, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a Jersey Mike sponsor?
Browns at Texans. I got the Browns.
Yeah, I got the Browns too.
They benched. It didn't really matter. They benched. They benched long neck boy. In Houston. Yeah. What's his name? Last name Mills. Is that his name? What the hell is?
Oh yeah,
quarterback for Houston. Yeah,
Allen playing.
Yeah.
It ain't like that's better, but
yeah. I think the defense is gonna have a field day, and then Shawn Watson may just have a regular day.
I should have picked him today. He might go for like.
He might go for like 300.
Eric, what you got?
He might go for like 300. Like, damn.
Yeah.
They would be mad as shit.
Remember, we said this. He might have the most points as a QB today.
He might. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Gary. Like they, you can no longer call them a scrappy team. They're the shit. It's horrible.
Like not in a good way. Like
not at all. You talking about that messy shit? Like my 2-year-old baby.
Yeah, that's that coffee shit.
That's that. Too many espressos. Jets at Vikings.
Shit come out like water shit.
Mike White, it is. I got the Jets. I got the Jets.
Put some respect on his name. I'm going with the Jets, man.
Damn, man. Come on, man. Go with your heart.
That was my heart.
Or go with your head.
My head would have told me to go with the Vikings, man.
Yeah, there you go. Go with your head.
I'm going with the Jets, though. I believe in Salas. What's his name?
Robert Salah.
Yeah, Salah.
Salad.
Give me the Vikings.
All right. Feel you.
Cook ain't been doing shit, so I'm good on that.
Yeah, man. I feel like he need to get out of Minnesota.
It's a daytime game. You know, like Bart says, old boy solar powered.
True. Bart Scott is a good listener, man. If y'all don't listen to like his other shows, yo, I love it.
He had the famous quote.
Yeah.
It was his famous quote.
I know which one you're talking about too, and the one they did after the game.
Yeah.
I know. I cannot quote it right now.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. He didn't even say he just said can't wait.
Can't wait. And I believed every word of it.
Commanders at Giants. I got Commanders.
Yeah. Hell yeah. As a matter of fact, I got a side bet with my line brother because all the motherfuckers was talking real greasy. Like, they don't understand, like, never mind, I'm going to just stop talking shit because I'm going to have a lot of shit to say after this game. Giants.
There.
Out of respect for you guys, I'm going to take the Commanders.
Now, is that a respect one, or is that a...
Out of respect for you guys, I'm going to say Commanders.
Got it.
Good luck.
Got it. Understood.
Thank you,
Had to make sure I'm writing that right.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
About to go order my big hat. If y'all ain't seen it.
Hey,
Is it going to say
that's
ass
trending,
on
bro.
it?
It
Is
is.
it going to say ass?
I ain't
what?
gonna lie. I might get one of them, yo.
I'm dead ass ordering one with
Is
the.
it-
With,
is
I'm gonna
that
put the
gonna
hot
say-
seat. I'm gonna put the
is that
hot seat
gonna
logo
say
on.
ass on it?
No,
Is that what the big hat says?
no,
ass?
no.
No.
I ain't gonna hold you. I might get one of them, yo.
It was
But the
kind of
ass hat?
you know, it's kind of.
You get an ass hat, Earl?
I'm not
Man.
responding to that.
Titans at Eagles.
This one. Of them,
Philly.
this one of them trap games, though.
Yeah, it is because they can't stop the run. As good as the Eagles are, they cannot stop the run, bro.
I'm
They
gonna go
cannot.
Philly.
But you know what? But Twinkle Toes, he be playing funny though.
Who you talking about? Derrick Henry?
Man. And keep in mind, remember they signed a couple hoes. They got Linval Joseph and Sue. So
I got the Titans though, man.
I'm
I
going
got
with
the
the
Titans.
Eagles, man.
I got the Titans.
I'm from PHILA, period.
But to your point, this is a trap game.
Nah, it is. Absolutely is.
If Green Bay had ran more, they probably would have won that game. I'm not sure what the hell they were thinking, but okay.
Who you got, Eric?
Fire the coach, man.
Oh yeah, you said yours.
Yeah, he's a low key horrible coach.
Earl, who did you pick?
The Eagles.
Yeah.
He's a bad coach.
Yeah, he really is. He's showing you that 13-3 back-to-back years was Aaron Rodgers, not Matt LaFleur.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
Hey yo, is Sutton injured?
I don't know.
He didn't come up on this.
Seahawks at Rams. Gino. Matt Stafford has been benched for the rest of the season. He's on the IR. Who's their backup? I have no idea.
That black dude.
Really?
That played last week. That was horrible.
Whew. That's another black guy in the NFL?
Don't do that.
No, dead ass. I don't know. I know PJ Walker.
Don't do that.
You got Jalen Hurts.
You're not gonna do
Geno
that,
Smith.
man. No, just stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Black History Month.
Earl, who you got?
2 months away. Don't do that, bro. I got the Seahawks, man.
I'm being dead ass serious.
Nah, don't do that, man. This might be the first time in a long time 2 black quarterbacks played off with each other, man. Squared off with it. Actually, no, that's happened before. It's happened.
Yeah, I don't. Damn, now you got me looking who the hell the quarterback is because I have no idea. I'll look up in a minute. Unless Gary, a statistician, got it.
That's messed up, Shawn.
Yo, Gary,
because I want to come
back.
back next week. I'm not gonna say what I was about to say.
That's messed up, Shawn.
Yo, Gary's new name too is gonna be the young Michael Eric Dyson. So it's a new name. Because when he be talking, bro, I'll be like, yo,
man.
I just asked a simple question and he hit me with all these big ass words. Young Michael Eric Dyson.
Pat Mahomes is in the league too. You know.
That's your brother, light skinned brother.
I want to come back next week.
Disrespectful, bro.
Not being disrespectful. I'm just saying. All right, what we got next? You got me down for Gino, right? Right. Okay, cool. Dolphins at 49ers.
Dolphins. Don't pick the 49ers.
I
gave you your one off, yeah.
I got the 49ers in this game.
Follow your friend, Dave.
It is, Gary. It is unfiltered conversation.
It is in San Fran. Oh.
Yeah, go on and follow. You want to pick San Fran, bro. Go ahead.
Who you got, Eric?
San Francisco.
See, everybody picking San Fran. I don't want to pick San Fran, bro. Said my mind is telling me no, but my body.
I'm going San Fran.
My body telling me yeah.
We gonna find out who's the real MVP today on that squad. Whether it's Tyreek Hill or it's Tua.
It's gonna be all of them.
I guess. Bryce Perkins? That him? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yo,
All
stop
right.
talking about him, bro. Stop.
I'm mad you were still. If you don't go to this next game,
Chiefs at Bengals. Matchup of last year's debacle. I think the Chiefs come out there and run it up on them. Got the Chiefs.
ooh, run it up. Not only win, but run it up. Okay.
Yeah, I think Chase is out too. Not that it mattered. Yeah, the Chiefs.
I thought Chase was playing. He's out.
Is he?
Thought he was coming back for this game. I got the Chiefs either way, but I thought he was coming back. I think the Chiefs defense is going to hold up better. Eric?
Interesting enough, you know that Patrick Mahomes has not beaten the Bengals with Joe Burrow, the starting quarterback, yet.
I did know that. Yep.
He did?
Nah.
Things can change, though.
That being said, I'm going with the Chiefs.
The man laid down that fact and said, but nah, hell nah. What you got, Earl?
Oh, that's the Chiefs.
Like one of those guys, like the commentators be like, you know, such and such hasn't missed a kick in 56 tries.
But he
Didn't miss the next one.
But they jinx him, though. They jinx him. They always do. He just missed. I didn't see this coming.
Chargers at Raiders. So you got the
That's
team
what
with
she said.
potential, and you got the horrible team with the horrible coach.
Yeah, you loud disrespectful, man.
Yeah, I see what you did there. I got the
I'm going
Raiders, man.
Chargers.
I got
ain't
the
think
Raiders.
about it. I'm going Chargers, bro.
I think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah,
I
Chargers gonna run it
believe
up,
so too.
I got the Chargers.
And I'm a bet on this one.
Did you see that stadium? I don't know if you didn't go out, but did you see the stadium when you went out there, Eric? Like, when you was in Vegas? Did you see the stadium? Oh no.
You went to the
I
game.
went to the game.
Oh shit, you're right. My bad. You know what?
He
I
don't
take that
listen
back.
to you when you
Right.
talk.
Me and Gary went to the game.
That's
You're
your
right.
friend.
You're
He
right.
don't listen to you, bro.
Actually, no, I don't listen. I don't listen to you. I don't listen to you. Sir.
Watch the company you keep, bro.
I don't listen to you, there,
Watch
buddy.
the company you keep. Yeah, he don't listen to none of this
I
shit
don't.
you say.
Actually, I don't listen.
Who'd you
to
say you have, Eric?
Is it okay?
I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with the Raiders because I said that the second half of the season they were going to turn it on. So, and they have actually won a couple games so far in the second half. So I'm going to stick with the Raiders as far as turning it on.
Okay.
Sticking with him.
For the record, I'll be in Vegas tomorrow. For the record.
Oh, yeah, you will.
Going to the game?
You going to the game? That's my
Oh, you won't be out there for the week.
No, I won't be. No, I won't be out. I'll be back. I fly back on Thursday. So, that's something crazy happen.
I got a couple spots for you to go to. Hit me off offline.
Facts. Colts at Cowboys.
You going out there with the missus?
Ash your go-go.
That's for work.
Ash your go-go, son.
If you going for work, not with the miss, I definitely got a couple spots for you to hit.
This is a live
Hold on.
broadcast.
Hold
I'm
on
putting
a
that out
second.
there.
Yeah.
What
I'm gonna do that too.
Oh my god. Colts at Cowboys. Shit. Like
As much as I don't
Cowboys.
pick them, I gotta go with them.
I wanted Jeff to win one more, but this ain't the game.
This ain't the game for Jeff to
This
win.
ain't the game. If you thought Matt Ryan looked halfway decent last week, they gonna tee off on his ass. I ain't gonna be lying to you. Sheesh. I think everybody got the Cowboys in this
Yeah.
one.
I already got it.
Saints at Bucks.
DUCs.
It's always a tough game though. It's all that divisional game, no matter who they got a quarterback in New Orleans. But I got the Bucks, man. I got the Bucks.
Same.
Tom is trying to get in the dance. Just get me in the dance, folks. Get me in the dance, and we're gonna go from there. Saints and Tampa Bay. Okay, gotcha. Raiders at Rams. Hey, Raiders.
Raiders.
You got the Raiders. Man, I know.
No quarterback, no wide receiver.
I know the Rams are so glad that they got that championship because, man, oh, man, this is just went downhill.
And Donald is not coming back.
I know he got to be like, I came back for this shit.
If I was him, I'd go on IR.
But they just signed him, though. What's that contract look like?
It ain't no long term, I don't think.
I know, but it's more than 1 year? Or can they get out of it after a year?
I'm pretty sure he can get out of that. If he say he retiring.
I mean, yeah, that'd be the only thing. But the thing is, he can retire. But if he comes back, if he say I'm gonna retire, and then he say
I don't think he's gonna come back, dude.
Yeah,
this is a telltale sign. I know it's time for him to go because he signed on with Donda. And you saw what happened with that.
Yeah, we saw.
And he signed on with the Rams again. And you see what's happening with that.
I'm glad you just said that, Earl. And we missed talking about that. And if you guys already saw that, Antonio Brown was actually in the standoff with police this past week. But he was the president of Donda Sports,
right?
I thought that's speculation as far as the stand.
No, it don't matter. He was the head of Donda Sports.
He was the president of Donda Sports. How the fuck? Okay, but you know what? It doesn't surprise me. Not at all. It doesn't surprise me. Malik got the Raiders for Thursday night.
Oh yeah, because I wrote it down. I was like, okay, Malik.
Yeah, you say if the Rams win another game this season, right? Because they got nada.
Eric, you got the Raiders, right?
Yep.
You're looking at the Rams potentially being bad for like the next few years because they ain't got no picks after the season. Like they've given all their picks and stuff away. They could be bad for several years.
They sold.
I think the Raiders going to finish second in that AFC West.
The Raiders? Yeah, I can see that. Because you got,
That ain't hard to do, bro.
They may actually save Josh McDaniels' job. They may actually. And that's their pick, man. Last quick segment, something we add because I know we all been talking about it now.
No, it is almost 12 o'clock.
No, I'm gonna give your quick thing though. Is there a bet that you suggest this week? That's all.
Oh, all right. So one, I will say this: do them weekly NFL weekly. What they call weekly? It's like some weekly bets, right? So what we did last week, and I just did it again. They have like these crazy odds that for every 1 p.m. game, there's a passing TD. And then they got one that's for every, I think, 4 o'clock game or every 1 o'clock game, a field goal. And then I did the other one for every 1 o'clock game. Every quarterback will throw 200 yards. I mean, it's a plus 28,000. I'm gonna take that.
If you hadn't noticed, like Earl's he's the de facto. He's our resident betting guy now. So we'll have a segment for you built in next week.
Thank you.
Don't worry about it. All right, man. For myself, Earl, Eric, Dave, it's the Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk. Enjoy your football Sunday. Be safe. Peace.